your own brand, and with so many ways of gathering information, it's more important than ever to use your online personality to your advantage.
And here to give us tips and tricks to a social media makeover is influencer and co-founder of digital media startup Impulse, Chelsea Krost. Hey, Chelsea.
Hello, ladies. Good morning.
Thanks for being here. So you started off, you had 200 followers on Twitter. Now you have more than 80,000.
We're getting there.
How did you get?
Wait, what is the ultimate goal?
I know. How did
The
you
goal
do that?
is to infinity and beyond. I mean, you could never have enough followers. But honestly, it was a slow but steady race because it's a science. There's a recipe in order to grow a following and to have an engaged following. And that's what we're here to talk about today, is how to grow that following, make it organic, make it engaged, and build your business, build your personal brand. You can monetize your efforts via social media.
Do you start off with like a number in your mind? Like, yeah, I'm going to hit 80,000.
Yeah, absolutely. I created benchmarks for myself, and I wanted to make them realistic so that I could actually meet them. And my benchmark, it seems like yesterday was 20,000. I can't believe we're creeping on 80 now.
Crazy.
My new benchmark is, of course, 100,000.
Yeah, I bet you'll get there like tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's very exciting.
For people who may not be as well versed in the whole social media universe, what is the first place to start?
The first place to start is unifying all of your channels, right? So there are so many different outlets that you can do in social media right now. Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook. Pick 3 and stick to them, right? You can't do everything at all time. It is a full-time job, which is why there is social media managers today.
Right.
So pick 3 that best represent your brand. Is your brand visual? Is your brand more text-oriented? And pick Instagram for visual, Pinterest for visual, and make sure to unify them. Don't have @Chelsea Krost here and @Chelsea here. Make sure that if you type in Chelsea Krost, all of your channels can show up.
What do you do if somebody has your name? Then you sort of, I've noticed more and more people, no, seriously, I wanted to ask you about this. More and more people I see coming to social media aren't using their name, they're just using some sort of fun phrase.
Right.
Sometimes when you are building a personal persona online, you go by, something else like, chic stylista or the budgetista, whatever it may be, but stick to it. Brand yourself, create your voice, clarify who you are and what you do on your social channels, and that consistency will help followers understand who you are and what you're going to provide to them.
You also say, aside from the consistency and picking one name, you say pick something that adds value to your brand.
Yes. In the social space, people love not only great visuals, especially on Instagram and Pinterest, but they really love great content.
Yeah.
People will share and retweet and favorite and come back for more content. So the best thing to do, because it can be very overwhelming with how much to post, how little to post, when to post, is to create a content calendar. So for example, if you're a stylist, it is Fashion Week. Get on that calendar, figure out what's hot, what's not. You can also, crowdsource information from other people's social channels and infuse it into yours. But if you can create a content calendar and stick to it, it's kind of like following your schedule. What's in my calendar today? Is it Women Crush Wednesday? Is it Motivational Monday? Is it Twitter Chat Tuesday? And this way you start to get into a flow, and the people who follow you start to get accustomed of what they can expect.
You can join the conversation that's going on already, since it's Women's Crush Wednesday or whatever.
Exactly.
Now, what about consistency in posting? I know you do Twitter chats at a certain time and certain day. Do you feel like people need to keep to a schedule like that, like at 8 p.m. on Tuesday?
Consistency is key, and there's a lot of analytics and data out there that you could literally just type into Google. It's not like rocket science. It's not very hard to find, that you could see people pertaining to your space. So if you're in fashion, if you're in politics, if you're in, eco, there are certain times to post throughout the day. So for example, I know that on the way to work, people are looking for their news for the day. So the more like what's trending, what's topical, what's important to know for that day, post in the morning. For the things that are more exciting, entertainment-oriented, people are kind of trickling off at the end of the day of work. They're looking for that fun, more uplifting, entertaining information. So like I said, it's really a science in figuring out what people are looking for from your handles. There's also great tools to use to organize your content and kind of set it on a timer for you. I love Hootsuite. I love Buffer. So if you have 3 new blogs coming out and you don't want to, and you're very busy that week, you can literally set your blog to go off on a timer on Buffer or Hootsuite, and you don't have to worry about it.
You have to literally be in front of your phone.
Much better.
And it organizes your content calendar for you.
What about engagement of your followers? You were saying to try to chat with them and
you do a lot of Twitter chats.
We do. Okay, so a year ago, we did our first Twitter chat. Our hashtag hashtag is Millennial Talk. They're
Maybe
every
explain
Tuesday.
a little bit in case people don't know what exactly a Twitter chat is.
So I call a Twitter chat a modern-day interview. So you know how we're sitting here and it's a Q&A? It's literally a Q&A dialogue between me and an expert. So whether it's a pro blogger or someone in finance or someone in politics or someone in entertainment, and we come up with a question dialogue prior to the chat, but everyone participates in this interview. Twitter is open to the public.
These are great tips, but you're not going anywhere.
I'm not going
to stay right there. We're going to talk more with Chelsea when we come back. She's going to share her #1 tip to finalize your social media makeover today. Stay with us.
We're back with social influencer Chelsea Krost, giving you everything you need to know to make over your social media.
And you saved the most important tip for last, which is, drum roll.
You know, this is the most simple tip, but the most essential tip at the same time. It is engaging your followers. People follow you because they want to engage in you. That's what social networking is all about, right? Engaging, communicating, conversating. But if you just allow people to start to follow you and you don't engage in them back, or you don't thank them for following you, or you don't repost or share some of the things that they're sharing on their handles, they will start to drop off. They will unfollow you.
Right. Unfollow. It's like the new modern day insult, right?
Exactly.
And you don't know. They just sneak away.
Yes.
All of a sudden, you'll start to see people trickling off because you really have to be loyal to your audience. And that engagement is key. Engagement brings your clout score, your value, your social media presence to a higher degree. The more engaging your social audience is, the more likely you are to monetize your social audience.
I'm always curious, too, how much personal information should you put out there? I'm always talking with other people who have kids and things like that, and they post a lot of pictures of their babies or their kids. I'm kind of under that kind of mindset that I don't like to do that. But what's your opinion in terms of personal stories and that kind of thing?
I think it's a great question, and I think there's a happy medium. I think people want to get to know who you are aside from your business persona or your brand identity persona. So figure out, you know, that happy medium with making sure that it's not too much. Like, are you posting what you had for breakfast every day?
Right.
Do people really need to know that?
Be something good.
If you're a food blogger, that makes sense.
I was going to say, maybe it depends on what your brand is, right?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, there are so many people that are interested in people's babies.
That's why I say pick the social handles that are most relevant to your business and to your brand and focus on those. So, for example, Twitter is my end-all be-all, but Instagram is so fun because it's micro content, it's an easy picture, you could post it, but I use Instagram to invite people into my personal world more than I do via Twitter. So it's about figuring out your brand voice, your identity, and where you want to put your energy to, you know, okay, I want to put more business energy to Twitter, and I'll let people into my world on Instagram a little bit more, like my family, my dogs, my, you know, my vacations. And so it's just being human. It's being personable.
You don't share it across? Like, you don't, let's say, do the photo on Instagram and then have that also go out on Twitter?
I do, because sometimes, I mean, I get lazy and I just want it to go to all 3 channels at one time, and that's the beautiful thing about social today. You can connect your channels so that one time on Instagram goes to, you know, Tumblr and Twitter at the same time. But it's really figuring out your brand voice, your identity, where you want to grow your audience significantly. For example, if you want to sell a product, Pinterest has the highest conversion rate to sales. So figure out what social network, and all of this is available online, is most relevant to your brand and business.
So powerful.
So awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You always bring some good information. You can check out Chelsea's Twitter chat Tuesdays at 8 p.m. But before